Today on Monkey Life. Infighting in one of the capuchin groups leads to surgery for female newcomer Louis.
We've had to just cut through the joint and just remove a little bit of bone so that we can close the skin over there.
Cotton-top tamarin Mo loses mate Uncas, but gains a new friend when female Red moves in.
I'm really hopeful that the signs are looking good with these girls and that they can provide that company for each other.
And warm winter treats for the Orangutan Nursery pals. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
You just never know how it's going to work.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 25 different species. The majority of the primates at the park live in large, stable social groups. But some of the primate species are volatile, and scuffles are part of everyday life. This morning, the capuchin team are bringing a casualty of one such tussle to the park's hospital.
Hello.
It's female capuchin Louis, one of the park's more recent arrivals. Louis wasn't used to living in such a large group and kept a low profile while settling in. But, having gained confidence, she's now vying for position amongst the females in Erico's troop. Today, she's come off worse.
When she first arrived into Erico's troop, she slotted in really well, but now there's a little bit of friction. I think some of the individuals that were pushed aside by Louis' presence are now actually kind of on the opinion of, actually, this newer monkey isn't going to take my place in the hierarchy. So it's a perfectly natural process. She just needs to find her place within the group, but within that process, there's going to be injuries along the way.
This isn't the first time Louie's been examined by the vet. Since she arrived, she's had stomach problems and been regurgitating her food, resulting in her being unable to keep weight on. The care team have been weighing and monitoring her regularly and controlling the condition with medication.
Louie, come on, lovely.
In recent weeks, her weight has stabilised.
Good girl. Well done. So Louie is 2.56 kilograms. She hasn't had a perfect weight today because she's not putting all of her body weight on the scales at one time, but it's a pretty good representation. I've got most of her hands and feet, possibly a little bit of tail not on there. So she might be a little bit more than that. We'll have another go at weighing her another day, because today they've been quite screamy and distracted by other things.
The improvement in Louie's health has brought out her true personality and led to a few nasty fights with the more dominant females.
She's also got a new slash wound on her tail. She got into a bundle with Zoe.
When vet nurse Saffron checked her over, she decided some of Louie's injuries were serious enough to call in local vet Dave Harding.
That actually looks worse than when I last saw it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It was together previously.
It's right in the joint.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, any other monkey would just not use it because it hurts, where she literally just carries on as normal.
Yeah. That one seems to be doing all right.
Yeah.
Before Dave begins cleaning and treating the many cuts on her fingers, Louie's going to be given a birth control implant to suppress her hormones. It's something more usually given to the males.
It'll be interesting to see how that changes her behaviour. We are also giving the implant to 2 of the other dominant females in the group as well, in the near sort of week or so. Just try and chill everyone out, and again, they need to sort out the hierarchy between them, but if they can do that in a more subtle way that doesn't cause so much tension and injuries, that'll be better for us in management and for the individuals as well.
Implant done. Dave can get started on Louie's injuries. 2 of them are particularly nasty, and a partial amputation is the only option.
Okay, that's fine. Let's just stitch it. the break in the toe had gone straight through the joint, and it was only attached by one side. So we've had to just cut through the joint and just remove a little bit of bone so that we can close the skin over there. So we've lost the end of the finger, but actually it'll still have some function.
Dave repeats the procedure on another finger. It may look serious, but Donna isn't too concerned. It's not uncommon.
Yes, several of the capuchins have got various digits missing, and it doesn't seem to hinder them at all. They just kind of adapt and get on with life, really.
The operation has been quick and successful. Louie will be put on pain relief for a few days and monitored closely by the primate care staff. Once she's well enough, it should be a more relaxed Louie who goes back to join the rest of the group. The climate in Dorset, where the park is located, can be unpredictable, particularly in the colder, wetter months. It's a tough job persuading the primates to keep busy and active outdoors, especially when their houses are regulated to a cosy 20 degrees. Today, Hananya's troop are making the most of the plentiful, comfy bedding. If there's a spare blanket to hand, Patricia will normally find it. High-ranking Simon is happy hanging around, watching Shamak and Arthur getting rid of some pent-up energy and having fun. But most of the time indoors is spent grooming and strengthening bonds. The 18 chimps who make up the group have outside access at all times during the day. When there's a break in the weather, some are tempted outdoors. Leader Hananya isn't bothered by the rain. Being outside sometimes offers a bit of peace and quiet. As the alpha male, he likes to undertake regular patrols around the enclosure to make sure the territory is safe for his troop. And if there's a scuffle, it's his job to step in and sort it out. Chimps are intelligent and need plenty to keep them occupied and stimulated. Occasional fights are inevitable, and today Zeynep and Evelyn are having a squabble, with everyone else beginning to get involved. Chimp quarrels are often over quickly. Then their bonds need to be reaffirmed. Sometimes being distracted by food helps. The cauliflowers on offer seem to do the trick. Although Simon is pushing his luck stealing a handful from Evelyn. And although it's warmed up outside, Patricia's taking no chances. Her blanket comes with her. It's been a few weeks since two of the park's woolly monkey troops swapped houses. Enzo's group of 6 moved into the top woolly house, and Lavar's troop went in the opposite direction. For Enzo's family, the large tree-filled outdoor enclosure is a big change. But it hasn't taken long to adapt.
They've had to not adapt fully, but they had to make some changes, getting used to climbing around this new environment. You know, you do see them using their tails, I think probably a lot more than what they were there, because they are climbing up in the trees more rather than relying on, you know, the wooden climbing frames, which has been really nice to see. So it is nice for them to have some change. It kind of changes up their life a little bit as well as they get used to a new house and, you know, new tunnels and new places to go and explore.
Their previous home did have trees, but also included wooden structures with hosing for them to get around. This new territory has a stand of tall pine trees, providing a wonderful canopy for the troop to move through, just as they might in the wild.
They have these fantastic prehensile tails, which acts like a fifth limb. They've got this tail pad towards the tip of the tail, which acts like the palm of a hand, which means that they can grasp onto things. And you often will see them, walking along, and their tail just does its own little thing and grabs hold of something. Because instead of having now 4 limbs to climb with, you've now got a fifth limb, which can support their whole body weight as well. So you do see them climbing up and using these tails and exploring a lot more with these trees than what they were doing down there, which has been really nice.
The dominant male is Enzo, and he has 5 females to look after. Pakaya and her 3 daughters, 8-year-old Oriana, 3-year-old Enya, and Esme, who is a year younger. The final member of the group is adult female Isla. Life for her has come full circle. She's back where she started, having been born and raised in this very house and enclosure.
She probably knows all the good hideout spots, all the good places or good views to see around the park. She has grown in confidence. She's doing really well in the group because we do have that strong family unit and Isla, but she's kind of seen as like the cool auntie of the group, and we do see her hanging out with the youngsters as well, which is really nice.
As well as exploring in the trees, there's plenty to keep the group happy and active. Lots of natural planting means excellent foraging opportunities, which they love. Enzo's troop is probably the most highly strung of the 4 woolly monkey families at the park. Their new home gives them lots of space and means they're not on top of each other all the time. The 2 youngsters, Esme and Enya, are certainly making the most of it.
Multiple times every day you will see those girls playing together, which is really sweet. And then having the 2 little young ones together, they're kind of sometimes off exploring together, which I think gives Pakaya, their mum, a bit of downtime away from the kids as they're up and exploring and enjoying themselves.
In the short time since the move, the group have embraced their new home and are enjoying all the benefits it has to offer. At the Capin Lodge, Eriko's troop of 14 are outside making the most of their natural enclosure. Earlier in the year, Storm Eunice felled a number of the trees previously enjoyed by the troop. But the unfortunate turn of events brought other opportunities.
It does open up a new dynamic to the enclosure. It exposes all of the roots, which means they can forage in that, which creates also a boggy area for them as well. We get all sorts of different things and insects in there for them to forage for. So it's a shame in one way, but also for the animals, it does give them another element of enrichment as well.
Some of the group are looking a bit worse for wear these days. They're getting on in years, possibly even in their 40s. Their tough start to life in a laboratory took its toll, although it's been followed by a contented life at the park, closely watched over by the care staff. Unfortunately, Eriko's group has suffered a major blow, losing its youngest and newest member. Female Louie, who recently underwent surgery on her fingers and toes, and who suffered from stomach problems, passed away. She only arrived at the park a year ago with male Matty, and had just started to find her place in the troop. She appeared to be recovering well and was enjoying being outside and interacting with the others. There was no indication anything was wrong, and she was foraging in the enclosure just before she passed away.
Louie was actually our youngest capuchin that we had here amongst all of them. Obviously, she arrived to us with some health issues, which we had investigated. We put her on the relevant medications, and by all accounts, she seemed to be doing really, really well. But capuchins, like most animals, are so good at hiding any kind of illness. So sometimes, by the time that we notice it, actually, it's too late. And I think that was obviously the case with Louie, and unfortunately, there really wasn't anything that we could do at that point.
Louie arrived at the park with Matty. He had a rocky start when he attempted but failed to take over leadership of the group from Eriko. But things have settled down now with Eriko firmly in charge.
It is still officially Eriko's group. Eriko and Matty actually seem to get on quite well. They seem to have quite a good understanding between them. Sean is not so pleased about Matty's presence, but they seem to be able to manage it between them, and the group, for the most part, is quite mellow.
Nearly all the small primates at Monkey World were rescued from the British pet trade. The majority are marmosets. There are more than 35 needing the care and attention of the primate care staff. But there's also another small species demanding attention, the Tamarinds. The park haven't had many, and just recently lost one of the most loved to old age, cotton-top tamarin Uncas. His passing means his companion Mo is on her own, but also presents an opportunity for the care team.
So that's very sad for Mo, but it's also slightly good news for another resident at the park. We have Red, the female red-bellied tamarin. Obviously, we didn't have any other red bellies, so we didn't have an option of our own kind to introduce her to. We've tried and failed to introduce her to some marmosets over the time that she's been with us so far, but she's very much not a fan of the marmosets. She finds them very irritating and doesn't want anything to do with them. So now we have these two single female tamarins, so we thought we'll try them together and touch all of the wood. So far, it's actually going pretty well. Hi, do we want to come out?
Red arrived last year, rescued from appalling conditions by the RSPCA, who then passed the small primate over to Monkey World. Like Mo, she's elderly, but that's where the similarities end.
Mo's actually a really good friend for Red to have, partly because she knows how to monkey. She grew up in a zoo environment with a family. She knows natural behaviours. She's good examples of this is how you forage, this is how you communicate, this is how you groom. But also partly because she's lived with Uncas for years now, and he was a lovely Fruit Loop. So she's also used to animals that maybe don't behave quite normally than what she was used to. So if Red is a bit weird, Mo's actually kind of used to that kind of companion, so she's quite patient. She was very patient with Uncas at times, so we're hoping that carries over for Red as well.
The two elderly ladies seem to be getting on. They're unlikely to have the same close relationship Mo had with Uncas, but it's a lot better than being on their own.
It's really nice that we're able to give her an opportunity to have some companionship again. I think she really needed it. They're meant to be, you know, with others of their own kind. They're not meant to be alone. So I'm really hopeful that the signs are looking good with these girls and that they can provide that company for each other.
Winter has arrived at the park, and the change in the season always brings challenges for the primate care teams. At the Orangutan Nursery, James has come up with a traditional winter treat for the group.
This morning we're using quite a few wintry native fruits, if you like. So we've got some nice hot cooked chestnuts here, which the guys are gonna probably absolutely love. And then we've got a few medlars, which are quite squishy. I imagine they're gonna be quite sweet, so they've never had those before, so we'll see whether they like those. Just putting a few in some socks and things as well, just to make it a bit more difficult for them. And then we've also got a couple of raw chestnuts as well, just to see what they do with the spikiness of them. It'll be quite interesting to see if they actually get into that or whether they just don't like it at all and just throw it away sort of thing. But I'm sure they'll love these hot chestnuts. They're going to be great, and it's quite nice on a very cold winter's day today.
There are still 5 orangutans in the nursery group. 12-year-old Sylvester should have been on his way to Basel Zoo in Switzerland by now to head up his own group. But paperwork problems have delayed his departure. Preparations, however, continue. Following a thorough health check, he's been given the all clear to travel, and crate training for the journey has been going well. Sylvester's now very relaxed going in and out of the large transport box.
Okay, shall we meet Sylvester?
Hello.
Where is he?
And he's had a visit from one of the keepers from Basel Zoo, who'll be looking after him there. Gabriella has been spending time getting to know the young male orangutan.
Oj, vilken fin båt.
It means he'll have a familiar face when he does eventually make the move.
We make a friendship, huh? So is fine.
And it could be happening very soon, possibly within the next week.
It's all been very up and down with him, but this will probably be his last week, sadly, for us in the nursery. So we're going to try and make the most of it, give him a really, really good time, make him enjoy himself. But also on the plus side of things, it'll be a great day for him once he's there. So really looking forward to it and just fingers crossed that everything will go the way it's supposed to go, and we'll be taking him on that journey very soon.
An indoor seasonal treat for the nursery group is the perfect way for them to come together and have some fun for what may be one of their final days together. Rika is out first and immediately starts hoovering up the feast. Oisin, as always, is more sedate. She settles down with a ripe medlar fruit, full of vitamins and loaded with fibre. Rika opts for the hot chestnuts. With clever use of her teeth, she peels off the hard outer skin to reach the warm fruit inside. The youngest in the group, 7-year-old Mimi, pesters Sylvester for some of his food. Perhaps she's hoping he'll do the hard work and peel the skin for her. Bulu Mata examines one of the chestnuts left in its prickly outer shell. He's handling it carefully, but it hasn't pricked his attention. Of all the orangutans in the nursery, Bulu will probably miss Sylvester the most when he leaves. They've become good friends and play together. But Bulu is a very different character to his more mature pal.
Bulu just makes me laugh all the time. He's so hyperactive. He's always trying to get people's attention, be it the keepers or the orangutans or even just the public when they're in looking at him through the enclosure. And he just looks very funny. So he's had a whale of a time this morning. He's been throwing all of the food about, probably playing with a lot more than actually eating it, to be honest. But he's got a world of activity inside his brain going on. He's very, very hyperactive, so he's had a very good morning.
The wintry smorgasbord of different fruits has proved a hit with everyone. Although the prickly chestnuts may be left till the end.
One of the most noticeable things I thought about this morning is how actually slow they were to eat it all. They didn't rush in because it was something new and they didn't have very often, so they were a little bit more wary, tasting it, smelling it, and they've just all taken quite a long time over it, really. It's been like almost a very posh banquet, if you like, for the orangutans. So yeah, it's been a really good morning. They've all enjoyed themselves and they're all still eating lots of it now, so it's been good.
Next time on Monkey Life. Orangutan Sylvester arrives in Switzerland for a new life as leader of a small orangutan group.
He's just been let into his room by himself for a little bit just to get used to the surroundings and chill out.
And large insects for the spider monkeys, but will they stick at it?